So let's look at indices and logarithms. So our subtopic will be indices. An index simply indicates the number of times a number, which in this case we call the base, has been multiplied by itself. For example, in our example 1, if you are given the expanded form that A times A times A equals to A raised to power 3, then we say that 3 is an index and A is the base. So A power 3 is said to be a power of A. Let us consider the following laws of indices. So we begin by looking at the first law, and this one we can refer to it as the law of multiplication. Now, when powers of the same base are multiplied, the indices are added. In this case, indices is the plural of index. Now, our guiding factor here is that the powers must be of the same base. That means that if we have x power n times x power m, then the result will be x raised to power n plus m. We add the indices. For example, in example 2, if you are given 5 raised to power 3 times 5 raised to power 4, then the solution will be 5 raised to 3 plus 4, the sum of the indices, and that gives us 5 power 7. Another example would be y raised to power 2k plus 3 times y raised to power 2 minus 3k. So in this case, it's important to note that the base is y in both cases, so they have the same base. So what do? We add the indices, and therefore y raised to power 2k plus 3 times y raised to power 2 minus 3k will be equals to y raised to power 2k plus 3 plus 2 minus 3. So in this case, sum of indices. Now that when simplified will be equals to y raised to power 5 minus k. Our second law is the law of division. Now, when a power is divided by another power of the same base, again here the bases must be the same, then subtract the indices. For example, in example 3, we want to simplify 6 power 10 divided by 6 power 9. So in this case, the solution will be 6 raised to power 10 minus 9. Again, we are subtracting the powers. We subtract indices. This would give us 6 power 1, which is 6. We can also have a second example where we want to simplify the expression x power 3 times x power 5 over x power 4. So we first of all deal with our numerator, where x power 3 times x power 5, we use the first law and add the indices. So that would be x power 3 plus 5. That would give us x power 8. Now x power 8 divided by x power 4, using the second law, we subtract the indices, and that would give us x power 8 minus 4. That would be x power 4. Now, in all cases, it's important to note that we have been retaining one of the bases in every case. Now, the third law of indices, which can also be referred to as the law of powers. Now, when you take a power of a power, then remove the brackets and multiply the indices. Let us look at example 4. Part 1, we are to simplify x power 4 raised to power 5. So in our solution, we say we remove the bracket and multiply the indices. So here the indices are 4 and 5, and therefore we will have x raised to power 4 times 5, and that gives us x raised to power 20. In example, in Roman 2, we have x 5 raised to power x, then the whole expression is raised to power 3. So in our solution, we are going to have 5 raised to power x times 3. We multiply the indices, which will give us 5 raised to power 3x.